Welcome to NBD Reels. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the Eviation's Alice, which is the world's first full-size all-electric passenger plane. Alice is the first attempt at producing an all-electric passenger plane. In this episode, we'll take a look at the following topics: the opener, the plane, what the future holds for air travel, and the conclusion. Before we get into the episode, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, please don't forget to hit the bell button and please subscribe if you want to watch more content like this. And if you're listening to the audio version on whatever podcast platform you're listening on, please consider subscribing. Eviation is a small Israeli company that was founded back in 2015. It was co-founded by Omar Bar Yaakov and Aviv Zidon in Tel Aviv, Israel. Bar Yaakov, a physicist by training, and Zidon both served distinguished careers in the Israeli military before developing advanced powertrains and clean energy generation and storage solutions respectively. So as you can see, both founders are credible individuals in their own right in terms of their development or intervention. Since the founding of the company, it took the founders 2 years to produce a scale prototype, which was a huge success when it was unveiled at the 2017 Paris Air Show. Excited from the great reception and the huge publicity the scaled prototype received around the world, the founders pushed on and produced a full-scale prototype, which was unveiled at the 2019 Paris Air Show. At this point, the aviation industry started paying attention to what this small Israeli startup was doing. Without further delay, let's take a look at the plane itself. In this section of the episode, we'll take a deep dive into Alice. The Alice is an electric passenger plane built to carry 9 passengers. The number of passengers is dictated by the weight of the battery, which is something that we'll look at further into the episode. The Alice costs $4 million to produce. It was built from the ground up to be as aerodynamic as possible, which of course led to the reduction of the cost per flying hour. The Alice costs $200 per flying hour compared to over $2,000 per flying hour for jumbo jets. That's a 90% reduction compared to the traditional jumbo jet. It can travel at a top speed of 276 miles per hour. For the sake of visualization, this is like traveling between London and Newcastle in an hour or so. Typically, it will take about 5 hours to drive. In regards to the technology that is found and used to build the Alice, we'll cover some of that in this section of the video. In order to get a propulsion system that was suitable to be used in an electric plane, Eviation reached out to Magnix, who provided the electropropulsion technology for the Alice. The flight-proven EPUs from Magnix made it a no-brainer for Eviation to choose them as their propulsion system. The Alice is equipped with a lithium-ion battery. Because of how the battery is laid out, the Alice is configured to travel about 650 miles on one charge. To get this amount of range from the plane, Eviation had to find a way of distributing the weight of the battery. The battery weighs over 8,000 pounds. This means 60% of Alice's takeoff weight is constantly in use and has been taken up by the battery. To pilot the Alice, it requires a 2-man crew to operate. To get the best efficiency from the plane, Eviation distributed the battery throughout the plane, in the wings, in the nose, and in the center of the plane. The Alice has a T-tail configuration which replaced a distinctive V-shaped tail configuration which was on the original prototypes. Alice's 2 Magnix Magni 650 electric propulsion units are located on a pylon mount at the rear of the fuselage. Talking about the fuselage, Alice's fuselage is constructed in 2 main pieces that are then put together. The plane is 3D printed from a composite material and later covered with carbon fiber. As a result, a small, ultralight and reliable eco-friendly transport for regular passenger carriage has been created. According to Eviation representative, 3D printing saved the company several hundreds of thousands of dollars on manufacturing, as well as dramatically accelerated the prototyping process. If we look at past incarnations of electric planes in the past, they lacked innovation and they were certainly nowhere near fit to be used as a passenger plane due to their size. The main use case for the Alice to begin with will be to be used as a commuter plane. However, the plane is already earmarked for other use cases, such as cargo, with DHL already placing an order for 12 of the planes, but we will touch on this later on in the episode. In this section of the episode, we'll take a look at what I think the future holds for electric planes and air travel. One of the key questions I always ask myself when I see projects or products like the Alice get some mainstream coverage and they emerge from the dirt. I always wonder, are we going to see these products come to life, be mass produced and benefit the world in a very important way and truly change how we live and travel? In most cases, the majority of these fantastic ideas and concepts never see this happen for various reasons. Though Eviation have been in existence for 7 years, we're definitely heading in the right direction. Let's look at a few examples of products like these that never saw the light of day. So the first product that comes to mind is Google Glass. It was a product that was so promising, but it failed to make the transition to the mass market. The Microsoft Zune is another to add to the list of technological failures. Theranos. Need I say more? To be fair, that was not a tech failure, but a straight out lie. Are we going to see larger planes be electrified? I always have visions of the world that has most modes of transport electrified. However, air travel, in particular for long haul, has been left behind in the dark ages, using an ancient form of fuel based on fossils, which at that time, supplies are dwindling. I would also say we need to find another form of energy or improve on the battery technology that we currently have in order for us to be able to realise the reality of the jumbo jets getting electrified. We've also seen concepts of passenger drones that are also close to being available on the mass market. The drones will not have the capacity to transport as many passengers as the Alice, but they provide another alternative to short distance travel. While a plane like the Alice is most likely going to benefit smaller airports, electric aircraft could also improve the efficiency of some larger constrained airports around the world. There's also the question of what happens to the air freight industry, as we have seen an increase in air freight over the last 20 years as the world becomes more globalized. In the future, Eviation is also planning an executive configuration that sits 6 passengers in larger, more luxurious seating, and a cargo configuration that includes forward and aft doors offering access to 450 cubic foot temperature controlled by continuous cargo bay. At the time of recording this episode, Eviation has not received certification to fly in the United States, but as far as we're aware, that certification is due to be completed before the end of 2022, and that also includes some test flights. We also know that the US-based airline Cape Air has placed an order for the Alice, and DHL, as mentioned earlier in the episode, have also placed an order for the electric planes. In this section of the episode, we'll take a look at some of the arguments brought forward by critics about the electrification of air travel. The key question that is always asked by critics is, can electrification help cut emissions from that other carbon-intensive form of passenger transport, flying? This is a complex question and one where size matters. The answer is always no, by the critics of course. Even though this will be a significantly cleaner mode of air transportation, there's still the argument that even these electric planes are still contributing to the huge issue that is pollution. And the reason for saying this is based on the fact that most electricity around the world is not produced from clean sources. Don't get me wrong, we are seeing an increase in ways to produce cleaner energy from our natural environment, using our wind, our seas and oceans and the sun, with the significant improvement of solar technology as well. But I personally think that we are years away from producing massive passenger jets that can transport 120 plus people that are fully electric. This leads the critics down the road of, even though something like the Alice is a fantastic technological leap, it is still not addressing the bigger issue. The problem isn't the propulsion technology, as this has advanced significantly over the years, as pointed out in the previous section of the episode. But the biggest issue lies in the energy storage. On average, jet fuel contains around 30 times more energy per kilogram than the most advanced lithium-ion battery currently available on the market. So in conclusion, I think as humans on Earth striving to save the Earth, we're definitely heading in the right direction in regards to reducing the greenhouse gases we produce on a global scale. With the portal that Eviation has opened in the quest to develop an all-electric passenger plane, there is certainly hope, not only for us as people of the Earth, but also for Eviation as a company. Eviation have put themselves in a very good position for them to be the future leaders in this industry, as they are basically one of the first companies out of the gate with a fully electrical plane. Of course, the big conglomerates will most likely pump billions of dollars in a short space of time to catch up, but even with all that financial backing, experience to me is always key. Within the next 20 years, I believe most modes of transport will be electrified, which in theory should mean lesser greenhouse gases. And not only has Eviation put themselves in a great position to become industry leaders in this space, potentially being the future Rolls-Royce to the aviation industry, Air travel is the fastest growing contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, as you can see from the chart that's on the screen now. It is due to go up by 27% by 2050, which in theory is not far off. If companies like Eviation can come up with a sustainable mode of air travel, it will be a massive game changer. The first flight of the Alice is still widely anticipated. Maybe when you watch this video, the maiden flight would have taken off and landed. Large electric planes with radically new batteries may be decades away, but there certainly is room for optimism based on what is happening in the industry now. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, please don't forget to hit the bell button, and also please subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And if you are listening to the audio version on whatever podcast platform you're listening on, please consider subscribing. Thanks for tuning in to NBD Reels.